Hello and welcome back. We are looking at our first anchor text for fourth grade ELA called Porpoises in Peril. And in the last episode that you watched, the last video you watched, we read pages 3 through 9 together. And we talked about the plot line, and we talked about how the very first part of understanding a plot is understanding what the setting is and who the characters are. And after that, we get to find out a little bit about the problem. What's going to happen in the story? So if you remember, we were introduced to 4 scientists who had also kind of a squad leader, Professor Q. And she sent the science squad off on a mission to discover why the porpoises were in danger. In fact, peril means danger. So porpoises in peril means porpoises in danger. And porpoises, if you hadn't already been able to infer, are animals, sea animals, mammals that are related to and similar to dolphins, but not exactly. So right now we're going to take a closer look at the events and the details of the problem that we've learned about so far. So you have a literacy notebook that looks like this. It's a composition notebook, and as we discussed already, it has 2 sides. A respond to reading side. Watch, it's magic. Flip it over, here's the word work side. Today we're going to be working in the respond to reading side of your literacy notebook. And we're going to take a minute to do some reading analysis. Reading analysis means we take a closer look at what we've read and we try to understand more about it. So I've written my answers here in pencil on this chart paper, and I'm going to start to fill them in while you fill in your very own page of your own respond to reading side of your notebook. So if you could turn to a blank page, the first blank page in your notebook, and if you could title it Porpoises in Peril. You could even write problem details if you wanted to. So follow along, make sure you have a pencil with you, stop here, pause if you don't, and come back when you do. And this will help you to kind of keep a running understanding of what's happening in the story, and we might refer back to it. So we can tell already what the problem of the story is. The big problem is that there are sick porpoises. So in the middle of your page, if you could write those words, sick porpoises, and give it a big circle. Give you a sec to do that. Now in the story on pages 4 through 9, we met Dr. Q, or Professor Q, and she explained that there have been some reports of declining populations of sick porpoises, and it was the science squad's job to try to figure out why that was. What we know from the story so far is that the porpoises were showing uncharacteristic behavior. Uncharacteristic is a long word that means unusual or not like normal. So in this upper left-hand corner, or really anywhere, write those words. You can copy them from my chart. Uncharacteristic, that has a prefix, doesn't it? Uncharacteristic means not characteristic. Uncharacteristic behavior. Also, friends, I want to remind you, as we do these video episodes of our reading analysis, feel free to stop at any time and pause the video so that you can catch up and you don't feel rushed and you don't feel behind. That's the beauty of being able to teach through video. So we understand that there are sick porpoises. How do we understand that there are sick porpoises? Because they are exhibiting uncharacteristic behavior, and people are worried because we know that if there's uncharacteristic behavior, it's linked to a problem. One of the problems is weight loss, that the porpoises have been losing weight. If the porpoises have been losing weight, I wonder what the scientists could be postulating the problem might be. So over here, this is another detail about the problem, right? Weight loss. there's a thought in the story that perhaps the weight loss that the porpoises are experiencing is somehow related to a contaminated food supply. So down here in this corner, write that detail down. This is another problem detail. Contaminated. Contaminated means changed in a bad way, right? So we wouldn't want to eat contaminated food, would we? Well, neither would the porpoises, right? So a contaminated food supply could be related to the weight loss that the porpoises are experiencing. And, well, what does this all add up to? Possible contaminated food supply, weight loss, uncharacteristic behavior could lead and is leading to a risk of population decline. Population decline means the whole group of the porpoises that are being studied right now is going down. Some of them are dying, maybe more than usual. So decline means going down. So we're concerned. There's a risk of population decline. Take a moment right now, if you haven't already, to pause your video. Make sure that you have all 4 of the problem details that we're aware of right now. Feel free to go back and read pages 3 through 9 and remind yourself about the problem details in Porpoises in Peril, and make your own predictions about what's going to happen next. How are the scientists going to study the porpoises? I wonder what they'll discover. I'm very, very curious. So tune in for our next video to find out. Thanks, friends.